And just before my graduation, I met Indian guy, and then he said, "Okay, I want to open a restaurant for my family." Most of my friends out of university, they're like owner of something, like shops, restaurants, cafes. And I was like going to many different places. I was just looking at people, making people happy. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I was just trying to make myself like owner. Like I thought I have to be like owner.
Oh, right. Okay.
And
Bringing out somebody else's best not necessarily makes you bad, but actually it helps you if you focus on other people's best.
So just I listen and just see like what I can do.
Right.
That's really important. I think.
Welcome to ENC Shizuoka podcast. My name is Jocelyn and I'm one of the staff here. ENC Shizuoka is where students gather, coming from a wide variety of interests and backgrounds and experiences. And in this podcast, we are interviewing students and graduates to share about their interests as well as some useful information that will be great for students. So in this episode today, we have Yuki Kino. I've known you for maybe a few years while you were a student. So thank you for joining our podcast. Maybe you can start by giving us a brief introduction about yourself.
Sure. Hello. I'm Yuki, and I graduated Tokuha University in last year, 2021. And now I'm running a business doing Indian restaurants in Yoshida town.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I have tried your food maybe 2 times, and it's really good. Coming from Malaysia, your Indian food is really authentic. So I'm so glad you did this. So thanks again for having time with us. I'd like to ask you about your business.
Sure.
And also as a young business owner, you just came out from university. So much you have learned, so much to share. So firstly, maybe you can describe a little bit about your restaurant and what's the unique thing about it and what are some special things you'd like the audience to know.
So like right now in Shizuoka, there are so many Indian restaurants, but they don't really have Indian chefs. I think there are only 4 or 5 restaurants which has Indian chefs, and we are one of that. And I think it's really unique. And also for ingredients, like we have opened restaurant in Yoshida, so we try to connect local people, like farmers in all the different restaurants. And basically like we are buying up all the vegetables from local farmers.
Right.
So we cannot get all the same vegetable all the time, but we try to use like seasonal vegetables.
Yeah, and I think that really makes your restaurant stand out. The food tastes great, and and you mentioned like you connect with local farmers and suppliers. So do you actually go down to the ground to see where your food is growing? And
because how they grow vegetables are really important. Sometimes they grow with just only water, sometimes it's on the ground. I prefer it's on the ground. So I just go and see and talk to the farmers. And sometimes I'll harvest food, vegetables together, and then we choose which one we should use.
I mean, it's great that the business owner is interested in where their food is really coming from. And I think knowing you, I also know that you are really passionate about the environment and the earth and sustainable living and being plastic free. So that has to be part of your business plan. Great. So and you talk about the chefs. You mentioned there are only few Indian chefs here. So what are the other kinds of chefs that are around? If they're not Indian, then
most 95 to 98% they're from Nepal.
Right.
Sometimes Pakistan. But most of the people are from Nepal.
Right. So if you want to know the difference between Nepal chefs cooking food in Indian restaurants and Indian chefs, so maybe this is a good place to try. So maybe you can tell us, what do you do every day in the restaurant, and what is your big role here in the restaurant?
I think most of the work is like manager. Like I manage things like in making menu and like do all this social media like SNS, Facebook, Twitter and all. and I take pictures every day, and we share, like I share all our like original things with customers, like talking to customers,
right.
and also meeting with chefs, because every time we make new food, we have to discuss, and I want to see what they want to do. So
yeah, and you being Japanese has you understand maybe Japanese taste. Indian chefs are coming with their Indian taste, so you try to mix. How do you do it?
Like I had food in India, and I remember that kind of taste.
Right.
And I can't eat meat and all, but whatever I can eat, they cook for me. So I just try to taste it, and then we discuss. And they're like professionals.
Right.
They have been training for like more than 10-15 years in India, and they come to here. So
right. So to some extent, you are trusting their professionalism, and you're trusting that they know real Indian food, and then you just try and work it out with where the customers like it.
Yeah, because they're living here like more than 10 years, so they know what Japanese people like.
Right.
So they can handle the spicy level. They have to a little bit slow down.
Yeah.
And not too much spices. A little bit mild. So whoever who want to have like real Indian taste, then they can also have something mild. We can also make.
Right. So we want to talk about how you begin your business, and you just graduated from university last year.
Yeah.
So and then your business is already a couple of months. So maybe you can tell us, what did you study in university, and what was the journey that you took to get from university to a business life?
Yeah, and I was in English course, and I was studying English.
Yeah.
But English was okay, but I was interested in so many different things. So I started meeting people. I started traveling, and India is one of the country like I just loved. Yeah, I went there when I was first year.
Right.
And I just loved the people and the environment. Everything was so alive.
Yeah.
And I couldn't forget experience in India.
Right.
And I just came back to Japan.
Yeah.
And I was just studying and doing different things.
Yeah.
And finally, I graduated. And just before my graduation, I met Indian guy. And then he said, okay, I want to open restaurant for my family. So I was like, wow, this is gonna be like best, one of the best experience for me. And I want to know about the India. So then I was like, sure.
Right.
Let's do it.
So very spontaneous. So did you have like a business plan, Indian restaurant, when you were first year? Did you already have a plan before this, or it was really like random?
Yeah, like my plan was a little bit different. I wanted to make a village, like sustainable village.
Yeah.
And my plan was a little bit different. But I never planned anything like business, because I was like never interested in doing business. But you're not sure things come so.
Yeah. And it's interesting because maybe many viewers out there, you think that you want to start a business, you have to have this startup passion, you have to like start studying and reading Wikipedia about business and all like things like that. But for you, it's just, it came to you and you just took it.
Yeah.
And now you just are going with it. So, but I also know you mentioned before that you have lots of different kinds of friends. Like you talk to many kinds of people.
Yeah, because when I was at university, like I was kind of bored doing things, so I started traveling.
Right.
And most of my friends out of university, they're like owner of something, like shops, restaurants, cafes. And I was like going to many different places. I was just looking at people, making people happy. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And and then we sometimes talk about the business. So most of the things I learned is from them.
Right. And so even though you were studying English and you didn't have a lot of like business training, for example, but because you were in the community, you were having lots of variety of friends, not just people your age, you could really have lots of hands-on advice and practical help, and you learning the trade just by your friendships with people. Like
I could learn things from university, but they're teachers and not the owners.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's better to learn things from like actual owners. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah. And today we are a lot of business people have mentors. Like they look up to some senpai who is already ahead and they learn from them. So yeah, maybe having people around you that can help you is like having a mentor. How has university prepared you or helped you in any way to become a business owner? Maybe it did or it didn't help. Maybe you can share.
And like for me, it's university. I was just studying English mainly,
Right.
so it didn't really help me to become a business owner. Because most of the things I learned is from out of university.
Yeah.
So yeah, it didn't really help that much. I would say.
And sometimes you may feel like, oh, without a business degree or a university degree, I cannot go anywhere. I cannot do anything. So let's gambate, go through this 4 years. But actually, maybe looking back, having the right kind of connections, knowing the right kind of people, may also be already a big benefit.
Yeah.
You mentioned also about in university life, you took working holidays, you were doing many things. So how did your working holiday experience influence your decision to start a business?
Like for me, also like my teacher, like, he influenced me a lot. He was also, teacher, so like owner of the school. And he's the owner, but he also talk about money. But he was like, he said, for him, his goal is that students don't need him anymore.
Right.
Means his business succeed. So that kind of idea also, I really liked it.
Right. And so in university, I think we had a conversation before this. You did a lot of traveling, and you said you went to India, and that really stuck with you, like you said this now. And so Indian restaurant was quite a natural connection.
Yeah.
To start a restaurant, Indian, okay.
Yeah, like I was really interested in Indian culture and all the spices and food.
Yeah.
So it was like, for me, it was really good opportunity to learn more, to explore things.
Yeah. So maybe it's like a passion or maybe a really deep interest match with something that can help you to earn money.
Yeah, like I never expected this, but it comes and I was like,
Great. Okay, wonderful. Looking back, I mean, not too long ago, but looking back, what would be some useful advice you like to give to freshmen or university students who maybe have some dream to start a business? These days people want to start business, every kind of business. So, what would be your advice for them? Mistakes you have learned in the past, or things that you think would be useful for them?
Like for me, I think the mistake I made, I was just trying to make myself like owner. Like I thought I have to be like owner.
Right. Okay.
And I had the idea. Okay, I want to make restaurant like this.
Right.
But then I just realized I didn't really respect what the chef wanted to do, and I shifted the way I do.
Right.
Now like what I'm doing is make people or the chef and stuff like excited and like enjoy this all work. That's what I was thinking, what I can do to make them like enjoy and just bring all the joy to the restaurant. That's what I'm doing.
So before this you were like, these are my expectations, this is my ideals, this is what I want.
I thought I knew like more about the Japanese people. We should serve these kind of food. The color should be this, and dishes like this.
Yes.
But also chef, they're professional. They're like, they know what kind of dish is gonna be look with the sketty, and they want to do something. They want to try something. But if I block that, their interest, their like skills, it will just gone.
Right.
So how can I bring up their best?
Yeah.
That's what I have to do.
Bringing out somebody else's best not necessarily makes you bad, but actually it helps you if you focus on other people's best.
So just I listen and just see like what I can do. That's really important, I think.
And I think Yuki, knowing you even a little bit from before, you are really unique Your personality is really unique. You have a strong sense of who you are. Has that really helped you in your business?
Like, actually, I thought, I also thinking like that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe I'm a little bit different from others. Or, I have really strong identified myself, like, okay, I'm like this person. I like, I like nature. These gonna...
Yeah.
But, I learned, having these is just, it makes things really difficult. Because, to be like, I learned, to be like no one. If I have like strong myself, okay, if I have ideas, if I have expectations, things will be a little bit difficult.
Right.
So like when I'm no one, I can just do 100%, focus for anything with anyone.
Right.
So for me, it's really big things to learn.
So that's something you learned on the business.
Yeah.
Wow. So being nobody, or maybe putting yourself aside and just focusing on what you need to do and who the people you're relating with, helps you to do it even better.
Yeah, like what can I just offer for these everyone?
Wow. What about students who are going to start university? Maybe you can say last few words about your message to them, those who are freshmen entering school, and you mentioned that you had a lot of experiences. What will you tell them? How they should live their university life?
Just don't think that people and teachers and friends brings you something. You are the one. You are the only one for make your life beautiful. Like whatever. Okay, you can stay in university. You can stay in the community, but try to explore things always and see things.
So you create your experiences rather than wait and people give it to you or invite you, but you initiate and step out. Is that what you're saying?
Just do whatever.
Right. Yes. I know you did a lot of whatever, so that really has helped you gain lots of experience. So I think that's about it for today.
Okay.
Thank you for really sharing your
thank you so much.
business owner experience. Okay, so thank you for joining our podcast today, the listeners and Yuki as well. So in our next episode, we want to interview Yuki again, and we want to know more about her working travel experiences to India and to Canada, and where else you have been, and how that has really changed her or affected her in any way. So thank you for listening and stay tuned.